Welcome to the Elite Podcast Network, home of the #1 independent wrestling coverage, available on iTunes, Stitcher, blogtalk Radio, and wherever you get your podcasts from. Follow us on Twitter at Elite Podcast Net and join the revolution now. Welcome to WH Radio. It's me, Oscar, filling for Skits today. Watching the Dodgers kicking the, almost call them Florida Marlins, but the Miami Marlins ass right now. Joining me now, I got Tom. What's going on, Tom?
Not much. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Raw's going on. Right now, as we speak, Beyond Wrestling is test streaming Raw Alternative. That's going to be going on next week, which we'll talk about probably toward the end of the show. We'll let people know what's going on with that because that should be big.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks. I haven't got, a chance to check all that out, but hopefully we can talk more about it a little later on. Also joining us on the Weekly Wrestling Podcast, I like to call him the father of the Elite Podcast Network, Mr. Masky Graham. What's going on, Matt?
I actually got a tweet today that called me the big fish. So apparently that's the thing now, the big fish.
Yeah, the Weekly Podcast sperm came out of your penis, so this basically, it's freaking your thing. So the Weekly,
all right, well.
The Elite Podcast Network is Canadian.
Yikes. We'll leave it at that. Just a quick plug before we get into the show, guys. If you haven't checked out Alpha One Wrestling released the DVD trailer for last night's Immortal Kombat 3 show, highly recommend checking it out. What an event it was.
Okay. I was hearing good things about it. Was there any toasty of all? No fatalities, anything? I guess they haven't played Mortal Kombat for a while.
Actually, the funny thing about it is Kirk Warmack of the Goat Brigade pulled out a Sub-Zero and tried to freeze somebody. Kind of hilarious.
Oh, shit. All right.
But grab the event, Smart Mark Video, very soon for that. We'll get back to Raw Talk here. Yeah, okay. Well, right now we're going to talk about Raw WWE Payback, what's going on this Sunday. And, we got a lot to talk about. And maybe we can talk a little bit of more Global Force. We got the new names been popping on the roster, some that we like. I'm sure Tom will like. So, yeah, he probably busted a nut when he found out someone was in that roster. But we'll talk about that later. All right, Raw, once again, started off with a promo. No match, like we always complain every week. Once again, Triple H returned on Raw. He basically want to get everybody in the same page, which Seth Rollins and Kane have been going at it for weeks and weeks now. So I guess he brought those two in the ring, and he wanted to know from Kane if they're on the same page or not. So I guess he made this stipulation in the 4-way that if Seth Rollins does not walk out with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, then Kane is no longer part of the Authority. So he got all that, and he also Triple H made some matches that involves all participants of the Fatal 4-Way match that's going on this Sunday at Payback. He made Roman Reigns going against Kane, and he booked the main event
which is going to be maybe a WrestleMania rematch or Extreme Rules rematch, but not Extreme Rules this time. It's Randy Orton against Seth Rollins non-title match. That's the main event for Raw. And there was a point where Jamie Noble interrupted Triple H. So then Triple H got fed up, and then he took the match, the opening match, which was Dean Ambrose going against J&J Security, which we all know Dean Ambrose won. But my question to all you guys, a few weeks ago, Tom said that Dean Ambrose was out or was not. He was. How can you say this? You were like, you think he was out of place or something like that. Now the crowd is going crazy for him, and it seems like every week the crowd's getting, or you could say Dean Ambrose getting bigger reaction of the crowd, and now it makes me want to think that he should not turn heel anytime soon, which we all wanted and waited to see happen, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Tom, what's your reaction with
before Tom? To start before Tom, and I apologize to interrupt, I feel like with Daniel Bryan out, there's no freaking way that they can turn Dean Ambrose heel.
Yeah, no way.
I don't think so too, and I obviously think that Dean Ambrose, he was out of place for a long time. I think after Hell in a Cell, once he finished his feud with Rollins, there was just a point where he was on the mid card, not doing anything for a while, just kind of in meaningless feuds and matchups, not really doing a lot, and he was still getting big reactions, but not to the point when he was feuding with Rollins. You could argue that he was the biggest face in the company at the time when he was heavily feuding with Rollins, but it's good to see him being put in the main event scene. I like it. Obviously, I think a lot of people are enjoying it as well because Dean Ambrose is a talented guy. We all know this. And it's good to see that now. I don't know what the reason was to put him in the Fatal 4-Way, to do the app vote and then put Dean Ambrose in the Fatal 4-Way. It could have just been the simple reason of maybe they didn't have anything to do with him, so they decided, okay, we'll put him in the main event match. But it's very interesting because both last week and tonight on Raw, Dean Ambrose ended Raw standing tall. It wasn't like Rollins or Reigns or Orton was standing tall at the end of the Raw. Both times, Dean Ambrose stood tall. So I think that's very, what's the appropriate word? I don't want to say weird or odd, but it's definitely something maybe to look forward to, that, okay, you're going to end Raw with Dean Ambrose standing tall 2 weeks in a row and, the Raw leading into Payback. So I think that says maybe the company is turning direction in how they view Dean Ambrose. I could be wrong, but I'm just basing it off of what's happened the last 2 weeks.
All right. I want to make more comments about this, but before I continue on, I want to hear Matt's thoughts. What's your thoughts of Dean Ambrose's reaction tonight on Raw? We won Ambrose. We won Ambrose.
Well, it was only because it was his hometown.
Oh, yeah, true.
I guess that's a fair point to look at. I don't really know where to go with Ambrose. I feel like he has to be the top babyface for a while. I feel like maybe you do what you didn't want to do a while ago, and that's to have him and Dean Ambrose face off against one another.
Interesting. Tom did just put out a point. It wasn't his hometown, but I thought that maybe he's getting more reaction every week, and I was like thinking, damn, it's too early to say, but it's almost like you next year's wrestling, you're gonna have to put this guy in the main event. So, I mean, he should be the front runner to win the Rumble, but I think it's way too early to say for me. But it's almost getting to that point to say, hey, next year this is on the man. You cannot go to Roman Reigns. You can't do something stupid this time. You got to put Dean Ambrose the winner. but we'll see. I think Dean Ambrose is leaning towards a big year this year. I still think he can win Money in the Bank and see what happens.
I know we haven't touched base on it yet, but do you guys feel there's any chance of Daniel Bryan coming back next year and possibly winning that Royal Rumble?
All right. Well,
we'll get to that. My whole thoughts on that when we get to the whole Daniel Bryan segment.
Well, let's just do it now then, because it seems like Matt really wants to talk about it. Before we get to it, I just want to say for anybody that's listening right now, anytime you want to comment on anything or we're talking about Raw or anything in the list of WWE or anytime pretty much, you can always call in at area code 347-945-5566 and
I'd like to tell Blog Talk Radio to go fuck themselves, because ever since I switched Blog Talk Radio over to this like new hi-fi feature where we get like high quality audio, apparently you can't even use Skype to like call in anymore, which is fucking stupid. So Blog Talk Radio, get on fixing that, man, please.
Yeah. Well, I see all this hi-fi thing. This thing looks more girly now, to be honest with you. So that's how the it's like, what the fuck is this shit? Valentine's Day is over. Or you can tweet us at WrestlingHeads like Nathan always does. Probably True God's listening. Shout out to those guys. I'm sure Tom was on the Eyes of the Ring.
I was gonna say you have to check out their show last night. They did like over 100 reasons why JTG is supposed to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, and this Thursday we got JTG on the show this Thursday. You had him on Wrestle Chat last Friday, so he'll be on our show on Thursday. Be interested to see. I got some questions to ask him. I got a little rumor that I heard about him.
But there's a question.
I'm gonna ask him.
Oscar, there's a question. Do you have that money? Yeah. Money. Yeah, I do. All right. Now let's be serious. The Daniel Bryan situation. It just seems like it happened like last year. I mean, he actually came out and once again gave out his medical status, and once again he's saying he doesn't know when he's going to come back in the ring. And he just came down just to forfeit the Intercontinental Championship because the fans deserve a fighting champion. Now this is going to raise another question: should he come back or what? Because it's just like 2 years in a row at the same time that Daniel Bryan is going to be out. Is he going to miss months like he did last year, or that's going to raise question? He should even come back and wrestle because, you know, his health is, I mean, it's basically almost kind of the way I feel like he should be in his career. I'm not saying I don't want to see him come back anymore, but it's almost like it's almost for the well-being of Daniel Bryan. You don't want to see him come back, and I completely see where you're coming from. I'm totally with you in that boat, man. As soon as I saw him come out, as soon as I saw the look in his eyes, as soon as I heard the promo, I'm like, honestly, man, like there's nothing else you can fight for. You've won every championship. You've had your moment at WrestleMania. I really don't see the point in Daniel Bryan coming back to beat up his body even more than it is already.
Yeah.
Tom, you want to make a little comment about Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, you know, obviously watching his promo on Raw, you could just tell that he was uncertain. You could tell that just by his facial expressions and the look in his eyes that he didn't know if he was ever going to wrestle again. And when you can tell and you can see his emotions, and you feel for the guy, because this is, I mean, one of the, I don't want to say there's, only bad guys in wrestling, bad people in wrestling, but Daniel Bryan is just a prime example of somebody who has worked hard his entire career. He's one of the best technical wrestlers that we've seen over the past decade. He's one of the best overall wrestlers that we've seen, and this is a guy that dedicated his body of work for years and years to get to the WWE and to get to this point, and within a moment's notice, it gets ripped away. So, everybody was, feeling for Daniel Bryan, and of course, I think we were. But going forward, obviously, Daniel Bryan's health is above anything. I think he's made enough money to where he could never wrestle a day in his life again, and he's going to be well off, considering also how intelligent he is and, just the kind of guy he is. That he's not going to be very loose with his money. He's going to save it. He's not the type of person to go out and buy expensive things for no reason.
The dude doesn't even have cable, I don't think.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw an episode of Total Divas. He was getting mad at fucking Brie because she bought $20 of a coffee drink, and he's all like calling her, "What the fuck you buying like a coffee gets for $20?" So.
Yeah, it's insane. But the thing I think he should do, and it's very similar. I think he should do what HBK did, in which HBK, after his back injury, he didn't know if he was going to wrestle again, and especially with a back injury like he had, he didn't know if he was ever going to wrestle again. So he didn't wrestle for 4 or 5 years. And he came back, and then he wrestled, for another 8 years, and he was fine. And then that's when he knew to hang it up. So I feel like he should go in the same route as HBK, in which HBK knew that he had to get better to see if he was able to get back into the ring. So I feel like what Daniel Bryan should do is take some years off. He can come back, maybe put him into, a GM role, or, with the network, there's plenty of opportunities for him to host like TV shows and all these different specials, plenty of opportunities. And, you could always have him down in NXT, in the Performance Center, training guys, helping guys. So there's always something for Daniel Bryan, I think, to do in the WWE if he never wrestles again. But that's what I think he should do, is just take some years off, focus on his marriage, focus on improving his health, and then, in years' time, decide if he thinks he's physically ready to get back and to wrestle again.
I think the WWE did a fantastic job of placing segments, because I think the segment after this, the New Day coming out and using Daniel Bryan to get over as heels, was just so good.
Yeah, definitely. But we had someone on hold for a while. Let me go put this person on. I think I know who it is. I believe he's part of the Weekly Wrestling Podcast family. Actually, not the family. I mean, Elite Podcast Network family. I'm gonna put him on right now. I'm guessing this is Nathan. What's going on, Nathan? If this is you.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I was on hold for 4 minutes. I'm fine. You guys can. I was waiting for you guys to finish your thought. That way, I can come in and we can be, so I don't come in the middle of things. But that's fine. But what's going on?
That's cool. Not much. Though you're talking about the Daniel Bryan situation, well, we just witnessed he forfeited the Intercontinental Championship, and we're just talking about how or what can he do if he hangs up. I mean, I agree with Tom. There's a lot of opportunities he can do. He can host a show on a network. There's a lot of things he can do. He's about to be a part of one of the judges of Tough Enough, I see. So, I mean, there's plenty of opportunities he could do. He could be a GM, whatever. But we'll see what happens. You want to put out your thoughts about Daniel Bryan, Nathan?
I'm kind of in the same thing. If he does what HBK did and takes some time off and then comes back in 4 years, I think that would be better, because right now he probably shouldn't be wrestling. And when he forfeited the WWE title at a show I was actually at, or at the Raw that I was actually at live on June 9th of last year, I mean, it sucked. And then the same thing happen tonight, and it's just what I'm worried about with Daniel Bryan is if he has to retire like right now, what people are going to see him as and what people are going to remember him as because let's face it, I think most people will remember him or guys like us won't, but or fans like us won't, but the casual fans will remember him for being a guy that had to forfeit both the WWE and the Intercontinental titles due to injury. So, and that's what kind of worries me.
Yeah, definitely. We actually got a tweet from somebody listening, Wrestling Godness, and she tweeted that I say Bryan takes a very long break, that with the great talent that needs to be presented, he's too old to retire. He's too good to retire this early. Yeah, I agree with her. She's right about that. He's in his 30s still. I want to say in his mid-30s, but I don't, like I said, I don't want to see him retire, but in a way, I understand why he has to because it's injury prone. But let's just wait. Let's just see a year. Let him get out for a year. Let him don't come back to after WrestleMania of next year.
He's only 30.
What happens? 36, right?
33.
Or 33. Okay. Well, he's getting to mid-30s. So we'll just see what happens. Daniel Bryan is one hell of a talent, and he has nothing to prove left. There's nothing left to prove. He did everything in his career. He accomplished his goals. I remember when he first entered the WWE, after he was finished with his Indies career, he said he wanted to headline WrestleMania, and he did it. So, what is next to prove? Is he trying to get some more money for the rest of his life? Well, we'll see what happens. Like if he has plenty of opportunities. But now I have a question for all of you and anybody that's listening right now. What's next for the Intercontinental Championship? Is there a chance that we'll see a match this weekend, Payback? Will we see a tournament? Will it be involved with a pay-per-view, which they announced a new one called? Well, it's not new, but they just added from the Elimination Chamber. Will we see a chamber match? The winner wins the Intercontinental Championship. What's next in the Intercontinental Championship, and who should be the next Intercontinental Champion? I'm gonna start off with Tom.
It's very interesting that they decided to announce this Elimination Chamber special on the network, May 31st. Conveniently at the same time that the Intercontinental title goes into vacancy. So it's a very good possibility that they, maybe do some sort of tournament or something, and then 6 guys get in there, and then, you have to think about, what the Elimination Chamber does, and then how that would help the title, because you have these guys in one of the most, brutal, special type matchups that the WWE has, and they're fighting over the Intercontinental title. So that's a very real possibility. As far as who I think should be the next Intercontinental Champion, I don't know. It's tough because I don't want to see it go on Wade Barrett again. I think we've seen that too much. Right now, I really can't think of anybody that really should hold that title. Like Dolph Ziggler, I don't really want to see hold it. Dean Ambrose, I feel like it would be a step back for him to hold the title. If I could pick and choose, I think right now I would put the title, if I could, I would put the title on Tyson Kidd and kind of not break up Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, but I would have them go on their separate ways, mutually. They both say, you know what, we couldn't get back the tag team titles from the New Day. We're going to go on our own separate ways. Good luck to you and you. No stupid typical tag team breakup that they do all the time in the WWE. And then I would have Cesaro start getting a big push, eventually winning Money in the Bank, and Tyson Kidd winning the Intercontinental title. But that's just me kind of fantasy booking.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson Kidd's a good choice, but the problem is, what do you do with the tag team division? Now we just saw the reunion of the Wyatt family, or Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Then you got the Ascension going on. I don't know if Sandow and Axel are going to be a tag team. The Mega Powers, I should say. If you guys know what I'm talking about, Sandow came on just like the Macho Man, and how crazy Axel doing his Axelmania thing, and they're just pretty much are the Mega Powers. Looks like they're gonna have a few with the Ascension.
They're the Mega Posers.
I don't know. The Mega what?
Posers.
Mega Posers. Okay, let's call them the Mega Posers right now. Fuck it. And you split Kidd and Cesaro, then the only babyface tag team you have right now that's active is the Lucha Dragon. So
and
I don't think
the primetime players.
Do that. Yeah, what the fuck they been doing? Just fucking.
Yeah, they've been cutting promos each week. They've been cutting promos each week, not doing anything in the ring. So maybe you start bringing them into the ring. So I see, and yeah, that is a problem because I think right now, I would say in-ring wise, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd are the most entertaining tag team. Maybe the most entertaining tag team overall, even though this New Day heel stick is working, I think, tremendously well. That is a problem, but I think eventually Cesaro and Tyson Kidd are going to have to, I think, split apart just because even though they are incredibly talented as a tag team, separately, they're just, if not more talented.
Yeah,
and
I agree with you.
We talk about losing Daniel Bryan as a big time babyface. Cesaro, I still am going to hold to the thing that if you push him properly, he can get over with the fans just like that, with the snap of your fingers, and he could be pushed as a big time face in the company.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Matt, what will you do with the Intercontinental Championship?
It's a very interesting scenario going on with the Intercontinental title. I agree with everybody. You don't give the belt back to Wade Barrett, although the only reason I would is to have Neville beat him as the King of the Ring and the Intercontinental Champion to boost Neville up even more. Maybe you give the title to Neville. I mean, he's been doing some great things on the main roster since he's been called up. Had a great match tonight with Cena. I don't know. It's a really interesting scenario to what you do with the Intercontinental title.
Well, I think I have an idea, but I want to hear from Nathan first. Nathan, what will we do with the Intercontinental Championship?
Honestly, they announced the Elimination Chamber special on the network, which is on May 31st. We had touched on that earlier. I would put the title up for grabs in that match.
And you got to do it main event. Prestige would go through the roof for that championship.
Well,
exactly.
You see, this is a thing right now. I mean, what is this pay-per-view about? Is it going to be like the actual 8 matches, 3-hour thing? Is this going to be like that, or just one chamber match?
You see, what's weird?
Kind of like the King of the Ring one.
What's weird about this too is that I believe they're running a house show the same day as that event as well. So you're not even going to have the full talent there, which is very, very odd.
And that would make sense if it's just one match. Because I could see it being...
It just seems like something really quickly thrown together by management.
Well, we're talking about WWE here, though. They do this shit
Good
all
point.
the time. So...
This is the same company that's trying to sabotage Ring of Honor's War of the Worlds shows by trying to have 2 NXT shows in Philadelphia the days after.
This is the first I've heard of that. That's bullshit.
Well, we'll see what happens. But But if it was up to me, to be honest with you, I probably would give it to either Sheamus or Wade Barrett. And here's why. I would say Neville too, but to me, I feel like Neville should win the United States Championship than have the Intercontinental title because he just nearly, if y'all saw, he almost beat John Cena today. And then it wasn't for an interference by Russo, he probably would have walked the U.S. champion, but that was not the plan the whole time. And he had a good match with John Cena, which was the match of the night. And it will help Neville skyrocket his career more if they make Cena drop the title to him. Doesn't matter if it's on a Raw or on a next pay-per-view. And then Neville walks out U.S. champion and he becomes a fighting champion. I'm not saying do the same thing like Cena, like give out an open challenge or anything like that, but I mean, I think it will help Neville and the United States Championship if he beats John Cena for the title this time. And my fear from that is, will the WWE let him do that? Because they love John Cena so much that, they'll probably be afraid that they'll make him look weak to lose to Neville. But Neville almost beat Cena tonight. So
I feel like Rusev needs to win that feud with Cena. I feel like Cena's just dominated Rusev that entire feud, and Rusev's just gonna go to like dreadful mid-card status, kind of like Bray Wyatt did for that long while after he lost to Cena in that whole feud. So I really hope Rusev goes over Cena and has another decent reign as champ.
I don't know. That seems like the logical thing to do, but once again, we're talking about WWE, and sometimes them and logic aren't mentioned in the same sentence. So, I would like to see Rusev win because that would be huge, because we know that Cena always does great in I Quit matches, so that would be a huge step forward for Rusev if you got Cena to say I quit. But it worries me because, they keep doing this whole thing with Lana, and, they're teasing a breakup, and, Lana's more over than Rusev and all this and all that. So that worries me. I will say, though, tonight, the match between Neville and Cena, it was a great match. I thought they clicked well together. And I liked the finish. I thought the finish was great because you saw Neville hit the red arrow and you thought, okay, there's the chance he wins, but then you bring in Rusev to do the interference. So it protects Neville, and it also protects the red arrow, because now people are saying, man, if he would have hit it, if Neville hits the red arrow on anybody, they're done. So, we didn't see Cena kick out of it. So that finish of the match I thought was done perfectly.
So good. So good. You want to know what wasn't a good match? Cesaro versus Big E. Very sloppy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was terrible. To be honest, I was like, I wasn't interested, even though I liked Cesaro a lot, but I was not interested to watch this match. And then I was like, I was looking through my tablet, and then I heard Cesaro's music, and I'm like, okay, he won the match. Oh well. That's my point. I didn't really get to see that match.
And then the John Cena Neville match, back to that quickly. They at a point in the match, they put the camera on Cena and it just showed him talking, like, giving order to Neville, I would assume, and just
after
WWE.
Yeah. And then did you see at the end of the match when after Rusev let go of the accolade, when Cena's supposed to be quote unquote knocked out, you see his eyes open and he's talking. Someone's getting fired on camera tonight.
That was very weird.
Big time.
That's crazy. But it's just wow. But
that Cesaro Big E match.
Expect a lot of that to catch the next Botchamania. Jesus.
Yeah. See, now Matthew has plenty to work with. But going back to that Cesaro Big E match that you guys were talking about just before, it was really sloppy, and I don't really blame either guy. I think it's just they didn't click. And Cesaro is a guy that I think he works better with smaller guys. He always has. When he works with bigger guys, yeah, it can show off his strength and his power, but when he works with smaller guys, he's able to lift them for upcuts, and he's able to do smoother transitions. So I feel like if he would have faced Kofi tonight, it would have been a better match. But 2 out of 3 falls this Sunday, a payback between the two teams. I think it's going to be a really good match. And man, like I said, the New Day heel gimmick that they're going with, I think it is working so perfectly. And I can't believe it took them this long to realize it. And it's funny because I mentioned this last week both on Wrestle Chat and Wrestling Heads Radio, that it's funny how the crowd, without the crowd chanting New Day sucks, we would have never gotten this new heel gimmick. So the crowd dictated somebody's heel turn.
Yeah. And it's actually working, and I'm loving it.
Wait. You're saying the crowd actually dictated something? Isn't that how wrestling should work?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not when it comes to heel baby faces. When it comes to how a wrestling company throws out characters and who should be the good guy and who should be the bad guy, that should be on them. When you watch Ring of Honor, you know that Adam Cole is a bad guy. And even though he gets cheered, Ring of Honor never said, oh, well, some people are cheering him. We got to turn him face because some people are cheering him. No, they kept going further and further with, Adam Cole being Adam Cole, flipping off people and, doing his normal thing. They never once panicked and said, oh, well, we got to switch this guy because he's pretty popular.
All right. I just saw a tweet right now. Former Tough Enough contention is going to be or trying to make his return. I don't know if you guys probably don't remember, but the dude named AJ, he was in the last Tough Enough season. He's trying to make a comeback. Huh?
AJ Kirsch is his name, I think.
Yeah, he put out his video out there, so he's trying to make a return. Wish him luck.
Every time I
have no idea who that is. I can't remember.
Every time I see a Tough Enough video.
The only people I remember from the last Tough Enough is Cameron, and Matt Cross was on it, and the guy who won.
Every time I see a Tough Enough video, I want to commit suicide.
I've seen like 1 or 2 of them that have actually been good. The other ones make me want to run headfirst into a wall.
Was one of them Scarlett's Tough Enough video?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, Scarlett Bordeaux. She did a great... See, and you know what's funny? Because all the good Tough Enough videos are from people who are actually wrestlers. Go figure. They know how to cut a freaking promo. And then the other 99% are these schlubs who look... It's either... You have a couple of people who look like they hit the gym, but then you have the other people, most of them, who are either too skinny, look like they couldn't body slam AJ Lee, and then you have the fat guys that look like they haven't hit a treadmill in 10 years. It's like you're going on camera in front of millions of people, and you don't think that Triple H, who's a bodybuilder and is all about health and lifting weights, is looking at these, and he's not like, geez, these fucking people are pathetic.
He's probably laughing his ass off.
And his video sucked. That guy can't even pronounce words right. So not every wrestler's video has been good, but most of them have.
Yeah, I'm still going to say it. I said it like 10 times already. I'll say it 20 times more. If Lufisto does not get picked for Tough Enough, it is a fucking crying shame, and it is an outrage, and it just shows what WWE wants.
All right.
Never mind that. If Dick fucking Justice doesn't get picked for Tough Enough, I quit.
Beaver boys.
But
Johnny
listen,
Silver.
if they pick Big Justice, there's the big elephant in the room because you have a guy like John Cena who represents America. WWE doesn't want to show the real side of America in Dick Justice, and I think maybe if John Cena goes away, then Dick Justice can come in as the new American hero.
What if we have the new Real Americans and it's John Cena and Dick Justice? I got this, guys. Give me the pencil.
Oh my God.
That would be the oddest tag team I've ever seen.
Give me the pencil.
But anyway,
Why, so you can jam it through your eye?
But anyways, we saw the returning in the ring daughter of a Hall of Famer, Tamina Snuka. She beat
Talking
Brie
about
Bella.
sloppy matches.
Yeah. what sloppy matches? What about something that it was not even a match? Roman Reigns and Kane. They just straight out beat the hell out of each other before the bell rang, and then no bell ring that happened, and fucking Kane was already laying down but underneath the freaking announce table, and
Kane died.
that's about it. Yeah, Kane died.
Yeah, I'm getting so sick of this whole Kane versus the Authority thing. Can they just? I'm sick of it. Can they just end it already?
Come on, we all know Kane's gonna come back to the Authority at fucking Payback. Relax.
Yeah, it fills me with great joy, and I haven't thought about it, but I thought about it tonight. We haven't seen Big Show since Extreme Rules, and I'm loving it. I'm loving that we don't have to see Big Show every week. Now, if we can get rid of what Kane is doing right now, that would be even better. There's two problems with WWE gone right there. But going back to you mentioned Tamina, it was good to see her back. I think she works well with the Divas because she's so much bigger. She's something different, and that super kick. I'll always love Shawn Michaels super kicks, the Young Bucks super kicks, but for some reason, maybe it's because she does it on the Divas, but her super kick is just absolutely great. And it like when you see it, you think whoever's on the receiving end of it is probably going to go in for some more surgery. So it was great. So it was good to see Tamina back. I'm not liking Naomi's heel character. Like, I just don't really care about it. But whatever.
Well, I remember tweeting this to you guys, and I think I mentioned it once when I called in, that I'm not a huge fan of her heel character right now, but if they give her the Divas title, then, I mean, at least it'll serve its purpose. But you're kind of right in saying that, yeah, it's not been that great. So I'm kind of mixed with it. We'll see where it goes, I guess.
I think Naomi's winning that title soon. I feel like they're just gonna give her a title until Paige comes back. So she might win it this Sunday, and then maybe wait till her Paige comes back.
The thing that sucks about that is, like, I think it was last year when AJ left the first time, they gave the title to Paige the night after WrestleMania, and then as soon as AJ came back, she won the title back. I could see them giving the title to Naomi and then Paige coming back and beating Naomi for the title, like, right when she comes back.
Well, I hope it's not the same. I'm hoping it's not the same situation where AJ came back on Raw and then beats Paige. I'm hoping it's not like that with Paige, where Raw Paige comes back and beats Naomi. I'm hoping it's something like they work with a program and see what happens, like a 2-month program. Like Lisa pay-per-view, let Naomi bullshit, like let's just have Tamina Snuka attack Paige, and somehow Naomi still leaves with the Divas Championship, and the next pay-per-view they have that kind of stipulation, like a lumberjail match or something, and have Paige win the title like that, like something like that. And And the question is, we don't know how long Paige will be back. I believe she's shooting a movie, so how long would that take? So if Naomi wins the title this weekend, then is she going to continue her feud with the Bellas, or will Paige be coming at you? That's like questions up in the air right now. What they're going to do with the Divas title? But yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Wrestling Ghana. She keeps tweeting. She just tweeted that Raw overall was just sloppy and very rushed and felt like everything was literally booked in the last minute, to be honest.
And it's very funny because we compare NXT to the main roster all the time. Going into Payback, they're going to be doing probably Naomi versus Nikki Bella again. I think
they announced it already.
Yeah, I don't know, because before Raw started tonight, there was only 2 matches on the card, so they had to announce every other match tonight, because then people wouldn't know what the fuck is going on. But I look at that match, and I couldn't give 2 shits about it, because I don't care about Naomi's character, and I don't care about Nikki Bella's character. But then you go down to NXT, and the NXT Unstoppable special, which is going on next Wednesday, you have that whole feud between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Going into that match, number one, we all know it's probably going to be a really good match because both these women can wrestle their asses off. They're going to get the time, and they're building up as this big match. I mean, when was the last time on the main roster we saw 2 women do a contract signing for a match? I don't think maybe ever. I don't think ever. NXT is building up the Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, maybe bigger than they built up Sasha Banks and Charlotte.
I think the last time WWE had a contract signing for women on the main roster was AJ Lee and Caitlyn.
Maybe.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing because that was prior to Payback in 2013, I believe.
Oh.
Maybe, but the point I'm trying to make is we never see it. But down in NXT, it's just like you care so much because you're going to first of all get a great matchup. When you see Naomi versus Nikki Bella, you think, okay, it could either be they could do good or it's going to be shit. So you go in with lower expectations. But with this match, you're like hyped up because you're like, man, I love Sasha Banks, I love Becky Lynch. It's going to be a great match. And then I'm not sure, but it seems like they're building up a Charlotte Emma match. I don't know if it's going to be on the special as well.
Yeah, that looks like it. It looks like they're going to have 2 women's matches.
I think they already announced Emma and Bayley at the next show.
Emma and Bayley. Well, see, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters if it was Bayley or Charlotte. Another great matchup. And it's another storyline, another women's storyline that makes sense.
It's a storyline, but I didn't think
it's not hard to do.
You know what? I'm just looking into it. They have not. I'm looking like the actual updated card for this Sunday's Payback. I don't see a Naomi versus Nikki Bella match.
They haven't added it yet. It's rumored at the current moment in time, but the next funny thing here about the Divas is people are trying to get Divas Elimination Chamber trending on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because, WWE won't put them in a street fight, yet they'll put them in an Elimination Chamber. Okay.
No, that was rare.
Then we won't have any more Divas to worry about because they'll all probably break their necks.
Yeah, probably.
Think about that one.
All right. Well,
the weird thing is, I feel the weird thing is, and it's kind of ironic, is WWE announcing the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, a match that no doubt, causes injuries and stuff after somebody just got injured and had to vacate the title.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
timing.
I'm very. Has the Elimination Chamber caused any real injuries? that we know of? Like any major significant injuries in the past?
The Undertaker got injured, but he got injured outside of the ring.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one year when his pyro.
Yeah.
And then he had to run to the ring, and they had to hose him off, and they had to clear him to actually compete in the match.
Oh, you want to hear this crazy story? I heard about that. I heard that I think it was Jim Ross that said this. That he said that after when he went backstage after the match, after it was burned up and everything, he Vince McMahon went up to him and said, "Are you okay?" It was like, Vince, you don't have to apologize, but the guy that was in charge of the pyro, I don't want to see his face, because believe me, if I see his face, he will want to see me again. Trust me. And I heard they fired the guy right away. So that's what I heard. And I also heard that if Undertaker wasn't all wet coming down to the entrance, he would have got burned badly. He did get burned, but he probably would have been burned like worse than we all seen.
Did he get disposed of like Eric Bischoff by John Cena in a dumpster?
But yeah,
we don't know.
He did wrestle. But he did wrestle the full chamber match with all burned up, and he had like some. I forgot how bad what the burn was, but a lot of people were backstage saying this guy is really tough. So
it was like second-degree burns, I think.
Yeah.
Like same thing with like Triple H. He got burned that one year at WrestleMania with dry ice prior to his match.
Yeah.
So he still did it.
Yeah, and then, it was funny because we're bringing up all these different things, and then I remember that one time on Raw, not too many years ago, when Sin Cara, the original Sin Cara, threw a hissy fit because he broke his finger and ended the match, and then Del Rio was beating the shit out of him, legit beating the shit out of him because he was, like, in pain because he broke his finger, and he was selling it like it was a major injury. I think that's just hilarious.
I don't remember
that
he broke his finger. I just thought like he was trying to sabotage the match to make Del Rio look like a piece of shit because they hate each other.
Yeah, what's funny? What's funny? I was watching AAA over the weekend, and then they're actually going to be teammates at that Lucha World Cup coming up next weekend, I believe. And they call themselves the Dream Team, which is Del Rio. And the original Sin Cara's name is Mistasis, and Rey Mysterio. They're going to team up, and they're the Dream Team, and I think they're the favorites to win it all. To be honest with you.
Yeah, just staying on that really quick. I don't want to stay on this topic too long. I believe Del Rio said in his U-Shoot interview for Kayfabe Commentaries that there was more heat between him and the original Sin Cara over like who Sin Cara was hanging out with, and I believe once they got to the WWE, I believe he said that they kind of like made amends and kind of they weren't friends after, but they kind of made amends and put all the stuff that happened in them under the bridge. So.
The original story I remember hearing, and it wasn't Del Rio and Sin Cara per se, but one of Sin Cara had like a mob of people that he would hang out with, and one of them like tried to pull, it was either a gun or a knife on Del Rio in Mexico, so that's like where their problems started, I guess.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even anything that like Sin Cara did personally to Del Rio. Is something that happened from a third party.
Yeah, definitely. All right, hold on. We got a call for a sec. Hold on a second. 443 area code. You're live on Wrestling Heads Radio. Who's speaking?
I am Nathan's cohort, and Eyes on the Ring Radio. You may know me, you may not know me.
Yeah,
True God Immortal.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been back-to-back shows, like literally, like I literally just did 3 shows in a row, and I'm on here now. I'm in a podcasty mood. So, and I'm still riding high after giving 145 reasons why JTG should be in the Hall of Fame in 2039. So I figured why not call him, man. I didn't get to see a lot of Raw. I mean, I watched Raw, but I was on the phone for like 3 hours with somebody watching Raw, talking to her. So didn't really get to catch everything like I wanted to.
Yeah.
True God Immortal getting some Wu-Tang pie.
That's every day, brother. That's every day. That is that's a regular occurrence around here. But no, man. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I know for a fact, some of what I saw, some of Cena versus Neville. I didn't get to see the finish, which completely blew me away. That they did the finish that they did when I found out what they did. It completely shocked me because Neville looks extremely strong going forward. So maybe with Brian, Brian being out, they're trying to push people more, I guess. So.
Yeah, you know what? That's what I was saying earlier. I think he's more likely to win the U.S. title than the Intercontinental Championship, because it makes more sense for him to win the U.S. title more than the IC title. Because if you have Cena drop the title to Neville, I think you can make the U.S. title more prestigious right now. And for the Intercontinental Championship, well, to me, it's been frustrating the last couple of years seeing Cena not being prestigious. And then when Daniel Bryan won it, I was all excited and everything for it. But then
we all were.
The injury happened. Yeah, the injury happened, and that's a question mark now. Will the Intercontinental title be more prestigious, or would it be, kind of meant something again like what they're doing with the U.S. title right now? And to me, I said earlier, True God, I think the best way to get the title to is either Sheamus or Wade Barrett.
I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about it, but I think if they give it right back to Wade Barrett, it's almost a step backwards.
Well, I think what did they give the belt to Sheamus? What did they give the belt to Sheamus? I mean, past couple of weeks, I'm hearing you guys liking his entrance, liking his heel turn. What if you give the belt to Sheamus?
I think that could work in the sense that now that Sheamus is a heel, it could work, and the promos he could deliver, because now that Daniel Bryan relinquished it, it would give Sheamus more incentive. He has the title now, and he's like, little Daniel Bryan couldn't stop himself from being injured. He tried, but he couldn't do it. And someone like me, a bigger guy like Sheamus, I'm gonna hold on to the title longer. I'm not gonna get injured and just give it up. So it could work.
I'm hoping he does. At the same time, I'm kind of wanting, I don't know if you guys will want to fucking cut my throat out, but in a way, if he does win the Intercontinental Championship, who would you like to see him feud with the title? I mean, continue to feud with Dolph Ziggler? Really? Continue on with that? I know they're feuding right now, but continue with that? To me, I feel like if he wins the title, I'm hoping Cena drops the U.S. title and have Cena and Sheamus go at it just to sake for the Intercontinental Championship prestigious. I'm sorry. I think I want to see that happen.
I think that could...
Unless you guys... Yeah, and another thing, in John Cena's whole career, he never won the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, and then they could always go back to when, Sheamus defeated Cena for the WWE title, when he was just, just breaking into the WWE. So that could work. That could definitely be something that's logical. Once again, that's logical, though. And WWE and logic, it doesn't mix.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, well, this can end the talk right now of Raw. The main event was Seth Rollins against Randy Orton for the non-title match, and then basically, if I'm not mistaken, Randy Orton won, right? Randy Orton won, did he?
I think so. I think didn't J&J Security interfere?
Oh yeah, they interfered, but then
Rollins got DQ'd.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
he got DQ'd, and then pretty much all 4 participants of the 4-way went at it, and then Dean Ambrose even did the 30 deeds of his longtime friend Roman Reigns, and that's pretty much how they ended the show. But yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So that was Raw.
And I mentioned it earlier, but once again, 2 weeks in a row, Dean Ambrose going into this match. Who's looking the strongest? Dean Ambrose, not Roman Reigns, not Randy Orton, not Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose. That's surprising.
Yeah, and then I mean, but the one thing is sucks about it that I don't think he's going to walk out with the championship. But we'll see what happens. This
Rose is only in there for one.
Payback.
Do you guys feel like there's any chance of a Shield reunion this weekend?
Hope not.
No.
But I don't think it's.
I don't think so, and just for the reason that if you turn Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, there's no baby faces, no top baby faces left, really, besides Cena, Orton, and that's really it. There's no top baby faces really left still. You can't consider Neville and Dolph Ziggler top baby faces. Yeah, they're pretty high up on the card, but they're not at the same level as those 5 guys. So I don't think so. I think a lot of people are hoping for it, and yeah, I mean it would be cool, kind of, but not really, because I think it's too early for the Shield to just kind of get back together.
A tweet just got sent out by a pretty credible source at Gang Green WWE. He's saying that the WWE tag titles are going to be defended at that Elimination Chamber event thingy on the network.
They announced who
I don't believe so.
All right.
Well, yeah, we'll probably get more answers as it gets closer, because it's today's only the 11th, and we still have 20 days till the event. So.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the. I was looking at the updated card for Payback. I don't see a Bray Wyatt versus Ryback match, which we saw Ryback attack Bray Wyatt today, but they did not added it on the freaking match or the card or whatever. But and also we just mentioned earlier the freaking Divas match or title match has not been added either. But matches they added has been Neville against Wade Barrett. That's on there. It's confirmed. The pre-show match, which is Axelmania and Macho Mandel going against the Ascension. That's the pre-show. Sheamus against Dolph Ziggler. New Day versus Cesaro and Kid. 2 out of 3 falls match of the tag titles. Cena versus Rusev I Quit match. And then the 4-way, which if Stefan loses, Kane is gone. So that's your updated card for right now.
Yeah, I think those other matches will get added. Probably. What they'll probably do is they'll probably add them on SmackDown or something.
Or they'll just throw them on the card randomly.
True.
Well, we'll see what happens this weekend at Payback. So see what happens. All right. Well, we've been talking for like a fucking hour already. I think we should have a damn commercial break. We'll be right back.
What's up? This is the phenomenal AJ Styles down here in LA, kicking it with the PWG, busting my tail. Freaking great tournament. The Bola tournament is freaking amazing. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, everybody and anybody needs to listen to Wrestling Head Podcast. This is Biff Busick, CZW World Champion, and you're listening to Wrestling Heads Radio, the greatest podcast in the history of the internet.
Yeah, I think we need to update that. Freaking Biff Busick is not the CCW champion, so. But anyways, earlier today, Global Force Wrestling released a video. They added more talent on their roster, or they announced more talent. And the talent they have announced, but before I announce them, in case you guys been living on the rock, the talent they announced last week was Channel Sun as the announcer, CJ Black, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, Lance Hoyt, Moose has been added, Lady Tapa, and Rosita. They all been added to the on the Global Force roster. Now this weekend, or today, pretty much they announced the video. They announced more roster. So the names they had added were the Young Bucks, Cliff Compton, Sanjay Dutt, surprisingly Tyrus, aka Brodus Clay, Jigsaw, Luke Hawk, the new Heavenly Bodies, and team of Casey Riley and Chase Stevens. They've been added on the roster. I'm gonna start with you, Tom. What you think about these names? I know you're happy about the Young Bucks.
Yeah, Young Bucks is good to see in there. They added Chuck Taylor, right?
I thought so too, but I don't see his name on the list. I'm on WrestlingHeads.com.
Yeah, they did.
I actually checked. Chuck Taylor's in there. You sure?
Yeah, I saw his picture in that video.
All right. Well, I checked Skits earlier today, and I said I thought I saw Chuck Taylor's picture on there, and he never replied back. But
yeah. So if Chuck Taylor's in there, which we presume that he is, see that name alone sold me on it because Chuck Taylor's fucking amazing. He's one of the best on the indie scene. He's entertaining. He's good in the ring. He's somebody that, I mean, I don't know if you can push him as one of your top guys, but he's a guy that you'd want to see in there. As far as the other names, some of them I don't really know, like some of the other indie names, like the new Heavenly Bodies, I didn't know who they were really. But going to the names that we know, Luke Hawks, he's pretty good. Tyrus, just kind of another WWE guy, kind of expected. Sanjay Dutt, I like that. Sanjay Dutt has a shit ton of talent and was underutilized his whole entire career. So it's good to see him in there. I don't know. I was disappointed that we didn't get really any other women in there, any more women's names in there. I was kind of hoping for some big indie women's names to be thrown in there.
Like who? Candice LeRae?
Candice LeRae. I mean, like I said, there's so many. Tessa Blanchard, Athena. I don't know if you could have put Lufisto, depending on what she does with WWE, but you could have put her in there. I mean, I can't name all the women on the indie scene that deserve to be in there because I'd be here for a half hour.
I think there will be announced more names because during that press conference, Karen Jarrett said she wants the women's division in that Global Force, or actually said there will be a women's division. I think they'll announce names later on. But what's shocking to me about Tyrus, I thought he just signed a new TNA deal. And you heard all these rumors this past weekend that Dixie Carter doesn't want nobody in TNA to work with Global Force. So what's this about Tyrus?
Yeah, because TNA apparently doesn't want their talents to work any TV or pay-per-views, but they can work anywhere else. They can even do iPay-per-views. So I don't know.
That's strange.
I
don't know,
have a question for you guys too, regarding PFW. Do you guys see, like, looking at the roster of the guys that they have? Do you guys see one guy that they could build the entire company around?
Chuck Taylor. Just build a company around Chuck Taylor.
Chris Masters.
Listen, April Fool's Day was over a month ago. Come on.
Plus, I heard you on Wrestle Chat say that you didn't think that they would be able to build a company around Chris Masters. So I knew you were joking.
Absolutely not. No, because when you're building the company around somebody, it has to be somebody that has everything. He has to be able to put on some of the best matches. He needs to be able to go out there and cut some of the best promos. He needs to be somebody that the crowd can either really love or really hate. And Chris Masters nowadays, people are like, oh, the guy that was in WWE. Okay, I guess we'll see what he's doing. He's not somebody that people get excited for. And I don't think, that's no offense to him, because I've seen a lot of his work since he left WWE. I've seen the work that he's been doing over in Europe, and he's better. Yes, and he's definitely a guy that's built around the way he looks and his body, but he's just not somebody, if you're introducing a new company, that you build around. He's just not that guy. And like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm knocking the guy and I hate Chris Masters and he's the worst wrestler to ever live. No, that's not the case at all. I don't think he's that type of guy.
You know what's funny, Tom? You mentioned about what that wrestler, what that wrestler needs to carry the company. I mean, the closest thing I could think of is PJ Black. He could put out a good match and everything, but his mic skills just sucks.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you need somebody who has everything. And
Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett.
Oh my God.
Moose.
He's going to be a 20-time GFW champion.
And that only be in
What
the
about
first.
this name? What about this name, Moose? Even though he's green in the ring, I haven't seen that much of his mic skills, but Moose does have.
I saw one promo from him, and it was a long time ago, and it was on Best in the World last year at Ring of Honor, and it was awful. So I hope that, I know that they signed him. If they signed and brought over Veda Scott and had her be his mouthpiece, I think that could work out really well. But I don't know, Moose has potential to be a great talent, but his mic skills need a lot of work.
Yeah, and he's just, once again with Chris Masters, he's just not a guy you build a company around and you say that's the face of our company. No. And, I said Chuck Taylor kind of in a joking sense, but when I'm looking at it, Chuck Taylor's probably one of my favorite guys on the indie scene. But if you look at it, he, and what I'm saying was the credentials to be the top guy there, he fits all the criteria. He connects with the audience, whether he's a heel or face. He's great in the ring. He can cut great promos, funny or serious. He's honestly the most logical choice.
Yeah,
I think,
but
I was thinking about this, and I think one of the mistakes that Global Force did is bringing in Gallows and Anderson as a tag team. I think if you would have done it separately, if you would have had them do, instead of announcing them as a tag team, but announcing them as just single stars, you could maybe build that company around Carl Anderson, because he's another guy that has a package.
Yeah, and as for me, living nearby Las Vegas, the 4-hour drive, right now it doesn't make me want to go to the show. Maybe later on, like in October, but as of right now, I ain't gonna go to. I'm picking PWG over Global Force. I'm sorry. But
we have been in the arena where they are having their first set of taping, and so we know kind of what the layout of the arena is.
Yeah.
The room that we were in is smaller than the actual, because they have an Orleans arena, which is like a 10,000 seater, I believe.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to use the room that we were in for Ring of Honor for their tapings, or do you think they're going to go with the full arena? And what?
I heard they're going to go with a full arena.
But do you think that's a good idea?
Well, let's just see how ticket sales first, because first of all, I'm sure a lot of people I know that live in LA that attends the PWG shows or live nearby Los Angeles that just drive to the shows. I'm sure they're all going to pick PWG over Global Force. I mean, the Global Force crowd might get is maybe guys are like, they live in the Las Vegas area, they might show up. But it's hard for me to believe, the guys I talk to at PWG shows are going to say, okay, I'm going to skip the show, go out to Global Force. It'd be, I'm not going to call them idiotic, but...
Well, because it's a gamble.
No way. No way. No way does anybody pick Global Force over PWG. PWG is one of the hottest commodities on the indie scene, and there's a reason why tickets sell out with PWG in 5 minutes, and why people hype it up, and why they're probably, I don't know if it's true because we don't get exact numbers, but if I had to guess, I'd imagine that PWG probably sells the most DVDs on the indie scene, because all over my Twitter when... Yeah, so, I mean, 9 times out of 10, people are going to pick PWG over Global Force Wrestling, and then, you're going to have always the one person who's like, well, PWG doesn't have storylines, and it's all spots, and, I'm a traditionalist. See, Jim Cornette probably wouldn't like PWG.
Your hick voice.
Yeah.
I was going to say, too, I don't think, if you're talking, GFW versus PWG, I think the people in California, if they have a chance to go to one or the other, they're going to pick PWG because it's what they're familiar with. They're not going to go to Vegas to take a gamble, and if the show sucks, then they're going to be pissed at themselves. They're going to go with the sure thing because they know that PWG always delivers.
Yep. Yeah,
and it's just because, the reputation that PWG has gotten over, I'd say, the last 4 or 5 years, and hyped it up as this big super indie company, and people know that that's what they're going to be. With Global Force, it's still more questions than answers, and I say this every week about them because they're announcing people for the roster, but we're getting closer and closer and closer to them doing their TV tapings, and we still don't know what it is. What is it?
Well, I can tell you this, though. They haven't announced a deal of a TV show yet, but they're just filming it for some reason. So, I don't know. Maybe they're filming to get a deal, I'm guessing. But I wish them luck on that. But now, the Young Bucks.
I will make one comment here. If you're an independent wrestling promoter and you don't film your shows, get out of the business now.
But anyways, Young Bucks, they were announced they're going to be part of the roster. That's pretty much saying the July 22nd PWG show, they're out. Are they even going to come back to PWG? They haven't been on PWG in a while. I mean, it's weird that, I just noticed something when the last time they were on, they were pretty much having a face reaction. And then, and I remember Matt said something in the mic, and then like a babyface type thing, and they haven't been in PWG since. I don't know what that means. They're trying to say they're going to be out for a while or what, but
I think the Bucks are going to be back to PWG in the summer. I don't think they were in DDT4 because number one, it's so close to the best of the Super Juniors. So, New Japan wants Nick Jackson as healthy and as rested as possible, even though, they are doing the Ring of Honor New Japan shows, but that's, the joint shows. So, obviously, New Japan's going to be okay with that. But they don't want, Nick getting hurt in PWG before the best of the Super Juniors. And then, Matt Jackson, I think, is having another kid, so he doesn't know when the baby's going to come exactly. There's always an anticipated birth date, but that always changes with kids and when they're born. So I think they'll be back to PWG in the summer. I think they'll be at the two events before Bola, Three Mendes, Three Mendes 4?
So Third Mendes is the same. Oh, that's in July. My bad. July.
Yeah, so they'll be at Three Mendes.
Wait, Three Mendes is the day of the Global Force show. Because they won't.
Just because they're signed to the roster doesn't mean that they'll appear at every show. I don't think so.
But you would think that they would want. You'd think that GFW would want everybody they can get on their first ever taping.
That's true, but I think also, I don't know, because obviously we know the relationship between the Bucks and PWG. They want to go there as much as they can because they love PWG and they love what PWG has done for their career. But at the same time, I feel like PWG, they know that they can do really well without the Bucks. They know that they can bring in anybody, and they're going to do well without the Bucks regardless. So if they say, okay, if you're going to go make more money wrestling for Global Force, you don't have to come wrestle for us. Go ahead and make some money.
I think in that situation, it also frees up some money to bring in some more guys as well.
Yeah, that's a good possibility.
Yeah, and another thing, Tom, they're naming these rosters, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be at the first show. Like we all heard the rumor about Roderick Strong possibly joining the roster. They haven't announced his name yet. I feel like that rumor's true, but maybe Roderick won't work at the first tapings of Global Force, but probably the August and October he will be there. So maybe that's why they haven't announced Roderick Strong yet.
I don't know. And see, that's the thing, is that we don't know what's happening with Global Force. We don't know who's going to be on their first show. We don't know what's going to happen. What titles are there going to be? What's the whole point of this company? You can announce these rosters and who's going to be on them, but if we don't have an idea what's going on, then what's the point? And I feel like, maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like they're trying to go the Lucha Underground route, where they're trying to be secretive, but at the same time, they told their audiences when they first announced this company was happening that they're going to be interactive and all over social media, and they're going to have announcement and after announcement, and they're going to have all these different things. So it's like they're trying to be secretive, but at the same time they're not, which doesn't work. It's either you don't announce anything or you announce everything.
This is probably just going one by one, but it just seems like it's been me, Tom, and Nathan talking about Global Force. I just want to hear from Matt and True God. You guys have any thoughts of Global Force?
Not at all.
I think the new additions were a big thing. I think that really helped out the interest in Global Force Wrestling. I think the roster looks really solid at this point. I think it's a lot of underutilized talents. You got some big names in there as well. Now let's just see what kind of product they produce. I think that's the biggest thing.
The one question I have, and I want to pose this to you guys, do you think at any point that Global Force Wrestling will become a legit number 2 or an alternative to WWE And if that happens, how long do you guys think it's going to take? Because my guess is that Jarrett wants it to happen right away, but it's not going to happen overnight.
I would say the same thing, but to me, it's the only way. I mean, the only way any company can get number two is you got to sign talent that can't do independence, like what TNA was doing about a year ago or so. You know, they had this talent, but now you see guys like Bobby Roode and them doing indies. You need to keep your talent exclusive, and that's to me, if you could do that, you're the number two company. Right now, I don't feel like TNA is. To me, right now, to be honest, the number two, it's pretty much a tie between Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground. So
you're talking just correct?
Huh? Number two. No, number two.
States, correct? Not including like New Japan and stuff like that.
Well, New Japan internationally, I mean, it's. You want to add New Japan, fine. They could be number two. That they got their own network and all, but.
Well, I'm not saying you have to add. I'm just wondering if you're just talking like United States companies, because if you are, then I would agree.
Number two, then yeah. But at the same time, you see what Lucha Underground is that. To me, I feel like AAA is the WWE in Mexico, because I was watching their shows, and they're just like Raw. They start off with a promo at the beginning of their shows, and that's what the matches go. All these things, though, they put out better matches than you see on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking around the world rankings, WWE is number one, New Japan is number two, AAA is number three. And even with Global Force, whatever happens with them, I don't think TNA came in at a time where New Japan wasn't doing well, so they kind of became a number two company around the world, but because of how long New Japan and AAA have been around, I don't think anybody else overtakes them just because of how big they are in their respective countries. So, but if we're just talking North America, I don't know. It's going to take a lot for New Japan to become the number two in North America, because I feel like outside of AAA and CMLL, if we're talking other companies, because AAA and CMLL are huge in Japan. Ring of Honor, you can maybe say is the number two company in the United States and Canada right now, because I feel like TNA has just dropped off.
Yeah.
So I think right now, I think Ring of Honor has a number two spot. It's going to take a lot for Global Force to become the solid number two company and to become I don't think they'll ever become legit competition, because there's just no way. There's just no way to become competition to WWE at this point. No way. But to become the number two company, they're going to have to do a lot. They're going to have to deliver good shows after good shows. They're going to have to deliver a TV product that people are going to be able to get behind, and not in just the sense of wrestling matches. It's going to have to look good. It's going to have to be available. If you don't have that certain cable company, there has to be a way for you to watch it online, because that's going to be essential as well. And that's what Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground does. That if you don't have those networks to watch it on your TV, you could always watch it online. So that's going to be essential for Global Force as well. So it's going to be tough. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Right now, if I had to guess right now, I would say no. But that could change. Right now I feel like Global Force is going to be more hype, and I feel like it's going to be so underwhelming. I could be wrong, so don't hold me to this, but I feel like it's going to be really underwhelming once we see it.
It's one thing you forgot to mention, Tom. If they're going to be number two, they also got to sign the talent long term. Like, let's just say they're the only company that they can sign the Young Bucks to a contract, or exclusive contract. They could do that. Then that kind of shows you what they're the number two company. But we were talking about this last week.
it's but when that Young Bucks rumor was going on, who could sign them? Lucha or TNA or Ring of Honor? I mean, it was very difficult for us to choose who can sign the Young Bucks on a long-term deal or a loose deal. But if Gophers could do that, hey, my hat's off to them. I give them props for that. But anyway, we'll see what happens with Wilberforce in the next couple of weeks. Maybe they'll announce more talent this past week. But anyways, next weekend it's Lucha Libre World Cup, this World Cup has teams of trio teams, like kind of like a Lucha Underground with the trio division. But in this Lucha Libre World Cup, they have talents from Ring of Honor, TNA, Noah, All Japan Pro Wrestling, and AAA as well. They're all going to join forces pretty much, or not join forces, but they're all going to go against each other, and they're going to be instead of teams or trio teams, and they're all going to go at it for the Lucha Libre Cup. I'm going to announce the names of the teams that are going to participate on this World Cup, or Lucha Libre World Cup. We were talking about earlier during the Raw talk, but this team is named the Dream Team. Hopefully the other Dream Team, that's like the type of the face. The real Dream Team are. El Patron Alberto, he's the captain team. His tag team partners will be Mistastis, which is the original Sin Cara, and Rey Mysterio Jr. Then you have Team Mexico 1, which is El Hijo de Fantasma, which is King Cuernos from Lucha Underground. He's going to team up with Tejano Jr., which is also part of Lucha Underground as well. And AAA's own Psycho Clown. That's another team. The legendary team, which is Blue Demon Jr., Dr. Wagner Jr., and El Solar. They're going to be a team. Team Rest of the World, which is TNA's own, and I guess he's representing TNA, Drew Galloway, representing Lucha Underground, Angelico, and Mastis, which is, he's without the mask, it's Mil Muertes from Lucha Underground. And Team TNA / Lucha Underground, which the team captain is Matt Hardy, representing TNA, Mr. Anderson, and Johnny Mundo. Just teaming up. Team Ring of Honor / Lucha Underground, which is Moose, ACH, and Brian Cage. They're going to team up. Team Noah. Okay. For some reason, it can't pop up. Tom, are you familiar with Team Noah? I can't see it right now.
Yeah, Team Noah, I believe, is Taiji Ishimori, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's Yoshihiro Takayama, and the last guy, Atsushi, what's his name? Atsushi Kojic. So some big Noah guys on there. I think a lot of people recognize Yoshihiro Takayama probably the most if you watch Noah. So that, and then the last team is from All Japan. Kenzo Suzuki. He's back. No Rene Dupree, but there's going to be Tiger Mask 3 on there, and Immune. So definitely it's very interesting. I think it's funny. The team TNA / Lucha Underground is the funniest to me because when I think Lucha, I think Matt Hardy and Mr. Anderson.
That's funny.
Did I got a question? Did representatives from each company that are being the outside companies, did they pick their own teams?
I had no idea. I'm just looking with
if they
on
did,
the list.
then TNA's management are retarded.
I don't think they do. Like, maybe.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did because they were big WWE names and they wanted to throw them out there. I'm sure TNA did that purposely.
So you think TNA themselves said, okay, let's send Anderson and the other two people to the tournament?
Absolutely.
Fully knowing what the tournament was and that they wouldn't fit in. Okay.
It's TNA. That's enough said.
You know what's funny?
Well, yeah,
I saw. You know what's funny? That little video package I saw about this, they had Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly on there, but they're not on the list. I don't know what's up with that, but the only Ring of Honor guys I see is Moose and ACH. That's all you got, Ring of Honor guys I see.
I don't know. That's definitely very weird. But this the Lucha Libre World Cup, it looks to be something that's it's very interesting. It's going to be May 24th.
Yeah, next Sunday.
So should be very interesting to see what happens here. There's a lot of talent on there that are good. A lot of talent that we know, some talent that we don't know. And I hear good things about AAA, but first, with how much wrestling I watch in a week, it would be hard to watch a lot of AAA events, and it's also just not as available. That's why I don't watch TNA, is because I don't have Destination America. I don't believe I do, and it's just I'm not going to go out of my way to go search for TNA shows just because I think so much better products during the week. So, but this looks to be good. Mix of American, Mexican, Japanese talent all in here. So should be something good.
Oscar, when you watch play and CMLL, where do you watch it?
Oh, CMLL, I have the channel. It's a Spanish channel here.
Oh,
I'm sorry?
Never mind. Because, when I watch it, it's usually, I'll go on YouTube. There's this guy named the Cubs fan, and he uploads stuff weekly from both AAA and CMLL. So that's, how I watch it. But I was just wondering how you...
I watch it on the AAA's YouTube page, and that's how I saw this week's episode of the AAA show, which was pretty good. Like I said, it's kind of like Raw. They start off with a promo, and then the matches happen. Which if anybody that's watched AAA or watched Lucha Underground but doesn't watch AAA, if you're planning to watch AAA, I just warn you guys, it's a different world than Lucha Underground. It's totally different. I mean, you got to just go with the flow. It's like if you watch PWG and Ring of Honor, there's one point that Adam Cole was the heel in PWG, but he was a babyface Ring of Honor TV champion in Ring of Honor. So that's basically what it is. You got to go and it's a different world, and you see what happens. Sexy Star is a heel in AAA, but she's a top babyface in Lucha Underground. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different world. So I'll check it out. Just go to their YouTube page, and you can see lots of their episodes. They even had an episode. It was not the episode where Perro Wild passed away, but they had a match with Ray and Perro. I think it was a week before he passed away. So, I mean, you have a lot of shit you can look at and just check it out.
Yeah, I think I watched the match that you mentioned.
All right. I mean, I recommend all you guys check it out. Matt, True God, and Tom. You guys just go on YouTube and just go on the Triple H stuff and see for yourself what you guys think of AAA, and and hope you guys enjoy it. But
and it is the Lucha Libre World Cup it's going to be available as an English pay-per-view as well. I believe
Yeah.
if you look it up on any wrestling website, I believe most of them have the ordering details on how you can order it and support it. So I'd recommend doing that, but it's not going to be for a couple weeks. So, you know, like I said, I recommend doing it. So May 24th, make sure you check it out. You know, it's not going to be on any, you know, it's not going to interfere with WWE or any other big events. So if you got nothing to do that night, I'd recommend checking it out.
Yeah. I'm planning on watching it, but I just want to see first because it's Memorial Day weekend. I just want to see if there's any family coming to town. If not, then I'll just watch the damn thing. But my question to all you guys about the Lucha Libre Cup: do you guys have a favorite that will win the whole thing?
I'm thinking Dream Team or Team Mexico. I don't think any of the outside teams would win, just because there's, you know, AAA is very hesitant about putting, you know, outside talent over if you're not, you know, in the company. So I don't see any like ROH or TNA or Noah or All Japan teams winning. You know, Team Mexico looks like a strong chance. Yeah, for what I've seen from AAA, I really like Psycho Clown. It's an interesting character.
Yeah.
It's something that really stands out in the company. And obviously, you know, the dream team of Del Rio, Sin Cara, and Rey Mysterio, you got to put them as the favorites because they're three huge stars down in Mexico. So it makes the most sense.
Yeah, Psycho Clown is badass. I hope I get to. I mean, when they do film the second season of Lucha Underground, I hope that's a talent from Mexico I can see join that roster. Yeah, Psycho Clown is a beast, but it's funny you mentioned Team Mexico. I mean, when I saw AAA this past weekend, it just seems like they're more focusing on those two teams, the Dream Team, which is, you know, El Patron, Misa Fis, and Rey Mysterio Jr., and then you have El Hijo del Fantasma and Tecano. And, you know, it just seemed that they focused more on those teams and the other teams like Ring of Honor guys and Noah guys. Like, I mean, you have Tecano running their mouth at them, but it just seems like this whole thing they're focusing on is those two teams. And it's kind of makes me feel like thinking that it's going to be one of those two teams that'll win it, but I see the Dream Team walking out of it as well.
Yeah. But I was going to say, getting off that topic, we should switch gears because today and tomorrow, two big shows, Ring of Honor New Japan War of the Worlds, going on in the middle of the week. Very, very interesting. I wish I could have gone to the events, but once again, they decided not to put them on a weekend. They saved that for Global Wars, so, you know, disappointing, but...
Sorry, Tom.
I know, but Global Wars got the better card anyway. You guys got Dalton Castle. We didn't get Dalton Castle.
Super excited for this weekend. But yeah, the War of the Worlds shows do look like a good time. I highly recommend checking them out. NXT also running in Philadelphia the days after as well. It's going to be a huge week for general, I would say.
I was considering they're doing a show up in Albany, which is about roughly an hour and a half, 2 hours, but they're doing it at a venue, which I don't like because I have been to that venue before, and it's in a sketchy part of Albany, and there's been stabbings at this venue. The part of town isn't very good. There's been stabbings in Albany. I've never seen one, but I was supposed to go to a concert there that got canceled because of the stabbing. So I'm kind of on the fence about going just from that. Like, I want to go see NXT, but I don't want to get, you know, a knife in my neck if that's the price. But
is this some sort of like Final Destination shit here on the Elite Podcast Network?
I have no idea. But yeah, these I'm looking, the War of the Worlds cards, they look pretty good, and for those of you that don't know them, I'll run through them really quick. Night 1, we got Delirious taking on Ghetto, Battle of the Bookers. Kushida taking on Roderick Strong, Jay Lethal taking on Takaki Watanabe. Got the Addiction going against the Kingdom and the Young Bucks in three-way tag. We got Elgin going against NATO. That should be a really good one.
Oh, yeah.
Tanahashi and Jushin Thunder Liger taking on Red Dragon. The Briscoes taking on Chaos, which is Kazuchika Okada and Shinsuke Nakamura. And AJ Styles taking on TBA. Who knows who it could be? So leaving up a mystery for night 1 and then going to night 2 real quick. We got Adam Page taking on Takaki Watanabe. Kushida against Michael Elgin. Kyle O'Reilly versus NATO. Jay Lethal versus Jushin Thunder Liger versus Mark Briscoe. Taking on Nakamura in a 4-way match. We got Tanahashi going against Roderick Strong. The Addiction going against Chaos, which is Okada and Ghetto. Jay Briscoe versus Bobby Fish for the ROH World title. And the Bullet Club, which is consisting of AJ Styles, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, taking on the Kingdom. Adam Cole, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett. Of course, Maria's going to be at ringside. So, yeah, those are the 2 cards. Pretty good matches on there. But once again, I'll say it again, I think Global Wars blow it out of the water. But there's still some great matchups on there. I can't wait till these come out on VOD.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could watch the live Global Wars show, but unfortunately I'm gonna be at work, so that's gonna suck. But yeah, I just can't wait to see all these events go on VOD, and it's gonna be good shows to watch. I'll try to avoid spoilers for like a few days, if anything.
That's always the worst, especially with Twitter.
I mean, that's like I had to try my best if I could get out of that shit, like trying to pay attention out there, but oh well. We'll see what happens. I just hope there's more Twitter feeds, people talking shit about Tom Brady than the whole spoilers of New Japan and Ring of Honor, you know what I'm saying, in the news feed. Keep talking shit about Tom Brady, please. But anyways, yeah. I mean, let me ask a question for all you guys. Out of all those 4 shows, what do you think is the best one?
The best show or best match?
Show. Who had the best? What show had the best card out of all those 4 shows?
I don't know. It's Global. I mean, Global Wars Night 1 obviously looks really good, but at the same time, that's the one
show night pay-per-view, huh?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the reason they're showing it on Night 1 is because it's a strong card, but Night 2 looks just as good as well. I don't think, like I said, any of the War of the World shows look better than Global Wars. Night 1 of Global Wars has, of course, ACH versus Nakamura, Chris Sabin and Kushida, Tanahashi, Michael Elgin, Cedric Alexander and Okada, Jay Lethal and NATO, and, of course, the big 10-man tag between the Bullet Club and the Ring of Honor All-Stars. So, Night 1 is looking pretty good, but then Night 2 has, of course, which it's probably going to be the best match of the weekend, maybe one of the best matches of all time, Dalton Castle and Jushin Thunder Liger. That's going to be so great. I wish that was on pay-per-view.
Yeah, and you know what? That Nakamura and ACH match, if ACH does well in that match, like I'm expecting well, man, just imagine this will go to WWE and how much you think New Japan will be booking ACH? I mean, seriously. They'll be bringing them a lot. Maybe another Ring of Honor talent will be bringing out a lot. So, we'll see what happens with the ACH future. But if he doesn't go to WWE, I can see him doing some shows in New Japan the rest of the year.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. I didn't expect it, but looking at some of the names that were booked, I was really disappointed that ACH did not get put in Best of the Super Juniors, especially considering that New Japan decided to put David Finlay in there. Nobody knows who the fuck David Finlay is. All right, he's Finlay's son. Okay, what the fuck? Who is he? No one gives a shit about him.
Okay. Well, I don't blame, but I think they just what they want to see if how ACH do against one of the Japanese talent. I know David Finlay hasn't proved anything yet, but I just feel like they like what they did last year. They bring in all these guys going against who, but there's a time that Elgin did not perform well in World of Worlds last year, and they didn't bring him back. They didn't bring him to Japan, but they'll bring in like Adam Cole, Mike Bennett, and Red Dragon to New Japan. I think they just want to see if ACH will be a name they'll add to the list. So I'm guessing that's why they didn't put him in the tournament. I guess they want to see what ACH got, and then maybe next year we'll see it. But
yeah, but if you're going on that, why would you put David Finlay in there? What has he done?
That's another thing. I understand. They just
nothing that
it's just weird. I still question why did you bring in Chase Owens? Oh, Chase, yeah.
Well, it's because of that whole NWA New Japan relationship. Yeah. And Chase, I'll say this: Chase Owens isn't bad. He has promise. If you're going to be utilizing this NWA talent in there, Chase Owens is probably one of your best bets. So, I don't fault him on that, but
with that, but at the same time, it's like NWA talent and NWA in general as a entity doesn't really matter anymore. So I always wonder why New Japan decides to book all these NWA guys, because that's the only place I see them, but it's like NWA has mattered for years.
Yeah. It's really weird. Maybe the only thing I can think of why they still do it is maybe, some of the fans over in Japan think that the NWA titles still have prestige, which, they don't here in the States, but maybe over there they have a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know the reason behind the whole NWA New Japan relationship. It's really weird. But, New Japan was also the company that booked the Gracies not too long ago. Thank God they got rid of those fucking pieces of shit. Talk about god awful talent. I can't believe they lasted as long as they did. And guys like Daniel Gracie and Royce Gracie got matches against Nakamura. People would chop off their fucking foot to have a match against Nakamura, and these no talent fucks get a match against them.
All right, well,
anyway, that's my rant.
All right, well, we're almost running out of time. I think it's time to give out our plugs. I want to give a shout out to True God Immortal for calling in here today, and and I'll give a shout out to Jocelyn. I forgot your Twitter name, but thanks for tweeting out all that stuff. This Thursday we're gonna have Brooklyn. All right, we're bringing him in this Thursday. Me and Tom are gonna interview JTG. We're gonna talk about his book that is coming out, so if you don't want to miss that out, you can follow me at Sinister632 and check out WrestlingHeads.com. Follow WrestlingHeads. Follow the Elite Podcast Network, please. I just want to say I apologize. I didn't do my classic match of the week this past weekend because I was too busy doing things for Mother's Day from my mom, so I'll try to do it again next week. So, I apologize for that. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead, yourself.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at @2tweetme. That's my only social media account. Make sure, once again, I thank True God. Check out Eyes on the Ring from last night. Very, very entertaining episode. 3 full hours of nonstop entertainment, so make sure you check that out. Follow him at True God Immortal on Twitter. That's classic episode. But also want to throw a plug out there for the people at Beyond Wrestling who are going to be hosting Raw Alternative 2 next Monday night. The talent that you're going to be seeing is unbelievable. If you've never seen independent wrestling a day in your life, even if you've seen it before, come out. If you're sick of Raw, come out. Even if you like Raw, you should come out anyway. There's going to be talent from C4 Wrestling, Interspecies, AAW, Alpha One, AIW, Smash Wrestling, Dreamwave, Beyond Wrestling, of course, Freelance Wrestling, Shimmer, Chikara. It's going to be a fun time there. I can't wait. The first Raw Alternative was a big success in getting independent wrestling out there to the people who didn't know, so hopefully this one is just as big, if not a bigger success than last time.
Yeah, and I also just want to say, go on our YouTube page, right? YouTube.com/WrestlingHead. Matt, you want to put out some plugs?
Yeah, Raw Alternative. I actually just want to throw out 2 matches that are on there. Scotty O'Shea versus Brett Banks in an ambulance match, and Alessandro Del Bruno against Ethan Page from Alpha One Wrestling. 2 great matches. I can't wait for the world to react to those 2 matches. We just interviewed Heidi Lovelace and Ricky Shane Page at Alpha One Wrestling yesterday. It's up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Weekly Wrestling Podcast, or youtube.com/Weekly Wrestling Podcast. Tomorrow, the Indie Power Rankings live, 8 p.m. Eastern. John Wayne Murdoch returns as a co-host. Dewey Barnes from TNA fame is on the show as well. Wednesday, we have Barbie Hayden on the show. Really looking forward to that. Thursday, you guys got JTG. Friday, we're going to be doing a Global Wars live reaction show following the event. And it's going to be myself, my brother David Kirkwood, who does commentary with me every weekend, Jake, and referee John Turnup of Ontario Independent Wrestling fame. So we're all going to be chatting about our experience at Global Wars Night 1, talking Night 2, probably talking some Smash Wrestling Gold, and much more. So it's going down right here on the Elite Podcast Network. I highly recommend checking everything out.
Yeah, definitely. Nathan, you got anything you want to get out a plug?
You can follow me at Headliner5 on Twitter. That's the number 5. Also, Eyes on the Ring. And just so you guys know, Eyes on the Ring will be coming at you guys live via the Elite Podcast Network this Sunday night as we talk post whatever the pay-per-view is, Payback. A live Payback post-show. So that's what we have to look forward to. And also go to eyesonthering.com, read my latest review of the last ROH TV show that just happened this last Saturday. And then that's really all I have. So,
all right. I guess till Thursday we're gonna have JTG on. Like I said, you don't want to miss that out. And I guess Thursday. What you say, Tom?
Money. Yeah. Money.
Yeah. Money, yeah.
It's going to be money. I can't wait. I heard Matt Grant interviewing JTG the third time on Wrestling Chat over on Friday night, and he's gonna be chill. He's a funny guy, and I still look forward.
I already met the guy already.
I want to see his book. I'm gonna read it. And it's gonna bring me millions of dollars. Oh wait, that's the wrong people.
Oh shit! No,
you fucked up. You fucked up.
That's the wrong group that WWE likes to stereotype. I'm sorry.
But I hope it gets in
Because WWE, loves those stereotypical gimmicks because they can't just have somebody out there. That's a rant. That's a rant to end the show.
All right, then. I guess until Thursday, we are out. And Tom Brady, you can suck a dick. Peace.